This practice strategy could be used with easier pieces too. Let's have a look at an Allegretto in E major by Fernando Sor. We start off with a dotted rhythm, and then we have measure 27 with two slurs, two pull-offs, like that. So it should sound like this. But many students tend to pull off too quickly on those two slurs, mangling the rhythm. Sounds like this. That's no good. So once again, to fix it, intentionally practice the opposite rhythm. So the fingers want to play short, long, like that. So we practice the opposite, long, short, like that. This type of practice is the most effective strategy to correct uneven slurs. If the counting looks a little scary to you, and it does, you can count it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But even that is kind of hard to do, especially fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead, you can use my bouncy method, which is like this. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Works very well. Sounds silly, but it works well. And to save time, isolate measure 27, which contains the slurs. In other words, there's no sense in playing those measures because the problem is not there in those measures. Save yourself time, focus on just the measure with the slurs. So what we'll do is practice in 4 versions. We'll play the slurs in the opposite rhythm, the dotted long, short, or bouncy, 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 like that. Then we'll practice the notes evenly without any slurs. Several times over and over again, getting that sound of what even sounds like. Then we'll try to play the slurs in the correct rhythm. And then even practice the wrong rhythm. Again, so your fingers and your ears and your brain recognize the difference between wrong and right. And again, that bouncy rhythm is a key part of this practice. And remember, on any piece you play, to save practice time, focus your practice on the slurs only. Later, practice the passage in its larger context. And if the fingers tend to want to revert back to their tendency to play the slurs unevenly, and they will, think the opposite rhythm, the bouncy, bouncy, bouncy rhythm, to keep the slurs even. So as you're playing that, you should be thinking bouncy, bouncy, bouncy to keep the fingers from pulling off too quickly.